So I'm here with Sai to rank all of the One Piece cover stories, and we're going to start at the very beginning with Buggy's Crew Adventure Chronicles, which basically follows him after Orangetown when he finds Alvida and everything. So let's start with you, Sai.
So you gave me a week to prepare for this video. I went through every cover page story again, read through every single one, and I ranked them. Buggy was a dead last.
I don't think I disagree. And so Sai's been studying for this, but I've been busy doing the actual cover story video, so I'm kind of doing these on the fly. But I feel like it's going to end up in the bottom tier for me. I like seeing Gaimon, right? And I like that that's where we found out that he teamed up with Alvida. But it's not as good as a lot of the other ones that we're about to talk about. So I think bottom tier sounds good to me for Buggy.
Yeah. I mean, the Buggy one, it is canon. Like, when it comes to some of these, or most of these, I should say, they have narrative importance. It's just that Buggy's adventure wasn't that fun to follow. Like, what? He saw Gaimon, he was on a raft, multiple times, he met this giant bird, which is, I think, the same bird that carried Luffy off for a little bit, and then he saw cannibals. It's okay. It's an okay story, it's just not my favorite.
The best part is actually that the tribe he ran into was the Kumate tribe, and they're based off of Kuma, like Kumate tribe, and they have the same paw symbols as Kuma on their face, and their island is also the same shape as Kuma's paw. So that's cool, but I don't even know if that's canon because the island is only seen in the anime. So we're gonna put it down here for now. So maybe we'll move it a little bit, but I think it's gonna stick there. And I believe the second cover story is the Diary of Koby Meppo, where Koby and Helmeppo train with Garp, or at least the origins of that. And one thing that I really like about this cover story is that it builds off of everything, or I guess you should say it's the foundation for everything that we've seen from Koby since then. Because remember the battleship bags? Well, we kind of already knew he was about that life because of this cover story. So it just kind of builds onto his character. So I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go just okay. But what do you think?
I had this one pretty high. Okay. I would have it in the pretty good category, but just okay is fine too. I just love that was our first meeting of Garp, right? We saw Garp in there. We didn't know who he was. It was just a guy wearing a dog hat. And it's funny because if you pick up on the context clues, you can kind of tell it's Luffy's grandpa, especially near the end where they're talking about Luffy and then Garp is
Yep,
So I really like that. And then, of course, Koby and Helmeppo, very important characters. And, for Buggy, for example, we always knew Buggy was going to come back somehow, some way. Koby, we didn't know. Right, Koby was kind of up in the air, oh, are we going to leave him at that town? Is he still going to be at, Shell's town by the time we finish the story? No, that cover page story showed that he is going to the New World, right? He is going to be trained and upgraded. So I really did enjoy it. And he really did go from a crybaby wimp to an absolute Chad in the span of, I think, 2 months or something, which is crazy.
And another thing that this cover story did was kind of introduce Bogard as well. In fact, I would say that this is the most Bogard action in the entirety of One Piece. It was in this cover story.
That's
I don't
something.
even think he's still officially been named, right? Because I think his name was only said in the anime credits or something. So, it is what it is. The one shocking part about this cover story, though, is that Axe Hand Morgan hurts Garp. And that's
I was going to say, it's kind of impressive, yeah?
Yeah, well, Garp fell asleep, but even that, I'm hey, Whitebeard would fall asleep and notice Ace going for him.
That speaks volumes of Axe Head Morgan's.
Yeah, that's the big thing is, I don't know, man. Maybe he's going to have a bigger role to play. Because the last time we saw Morgan was in this cover story. No. It was in the next cover story, Django, because Django sails right past him, right after this cover story ends. So we'll put this one in just okay for now, but I might move it up to pretty good by the end. We'll see. I might agree with you. But the next one is Django's. Again, where we may have seen Axe Hand Morgan for the last time. This is my least favorite one. I'm almost certain. Yes. Now, I will say one thing, is there's a special for, not necessarily for this cover story, but it ties to the island that he went to. And all the Straw Hats are dancing. I'll play a clip here in a second, for the viewers. You won't... Sai, I'll send it to you later. I don't have it all set up
Appreciate
here.
it.
But the clip is crazy. They're doing contemporary dances like Luffy and Nami and all them, and it does not look right. It looks very awkward. So that's kind of funny, but that's not the same thing as the cover story. It's just on the same island. So I'm going last place. What are you thinking?
I had this pretty low too, and it's not because of the story per se. I think the story is good, right? we do have to see where Django went because he eventually became a Marine with full body, and this explains how they, got on that path and how they're working under Hina. Right, we saw him go through this whole like villain to hero thing where he's like, I'm gonna leave these citizens to die. Wait a minute, I kind of like full body. I'm gonna come back and help all these dudes. And then they're like, oh, be a Marine. And then he joins Hina because they had like the hard eyes for her or something.
Yeah,
it was just so silly. Another reason I like this is because of the Tulip Pirates. I think just getting more characters with flowers on their head, I think is going to be big, especially when we get the Void Century, right? It's like in the same line as like Noland and Crocus to an extent. So the Tulip Pirates were cool, but I do have this near the bottom. I'd almost put it in the same tier as you put it here. And that's simply because I don't like Django necessarily, and I don't like dancing. I hate dancing.
Really?
So having like a dancing adventure is just like, ugh, it's nasty.
You will not like that anime special that I was just talking about.
Yeah. Please don't send it my way, actually. Delete it from the messages.
Well, you know what? I might put it just above Buggy's, because you said
it's
you have
Buggy's
dead last. I'll do that. We'll keep Buggy last. Yeah, Django, I'm not a huge fan of him either. I do think his story's a little interesting because of the Kuro thing, right? He's the one who hypnotized Morgan to say that he killed Kuro and all that stuff. So that's interesting that like he has like somewhat of a bigger role, but remember he like a mushroom grew on his chin and he ate it to give him his powers and stuff, and that's just like, if that ends up being more important, then maybe we'll come back and move this up. Not that he ate it during that, but just Django will be more important. But for now, I think I'm happy with that.
It's funny you say that. I think all these cover page stories, despite us having them in dead last, I think they will hold importance later on. Like Dance Island, where they're doing like the Nika dance and stuff. Come on, yeah, that's going to be like a bigger thing later. Yeah. And then for Buggy, I don't know if you remember, but there was like one chapter within his cover page story where I think Richie the lion was dreaming that he was setting sail off and fighting this dragon. I was like, okay, I think that's going to be important later on. That might be a hint towards something bigger, but it doesn't change my overall feelings for the cover page story as a whole, though, right? One or two good ones, or one or two big foreshadowing moments will not change my overall perception.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you brought up the Richie thing, because he did dream it, but he also like got up and acted, right? He was like sleepwalking. And with some of the stuff we're learning now in One Piece, like with Killingham and the dreams coming to life thing, and just, Blackbeard saying dreams never end and dreams being important to One Piece and all that, it does make me think there might be some more importance to it. Like, wow, he was dreaming something and made it into reality, essentially. So we'll see. But like you said, 1 or 2 pages isn't enough. And you also brought up the Tulip Pirates, and I just wanted to say that in a lot of these cover stories, like, maybe not a lot, but like 3 or 4 of them, random pirate crews like that show up all the time, and then they just get defeated. Like in the Cypher Pole one, Lucci beats a random group of pirates. In Bege's, a random group of pirates show up. The Germ pirates who use cooties to make people kiss each other. So like, that's like
that's like a Codename Kids Next Door. The cootie pirates are here.
I think Cypher Pole had the candy pirates. They're all like just these weak little random pirates.
I don't know. They're so forgettable. I don't even remember. I'm just making stuff up at this point.
They only exist in the cover stories too, and then get defeated right away. So it is what it is. But the next one that we got to talk about, I believe, is Hatchan's is the 4th one.
Ooh, yeah.
So Hatchan's, I'm like 50-50 because overall, I kind of want to put it down here, all the way at the bottom. Yeah. Because nothing that important happened, but he did find an underwater devil fruit in a random shark's refrigerator that we have not uncovered yet. We don't know what power it is. We haven't seen it since then. And I think that is, I don't know, a little more interesting than what some of the others do. So I'm going to go meh. The main point of it is like he gets his takoyaki ship, which we find in Sabaody, right? That like the Straw Hats actually eat on that ship. So it does have some narrative importance, but like I would almost say like Buggy returning with Alvida is more narratively important than this ship. So I'm going to go meh for the devil fruit. But what do you think?
Funny enough, I had this right next to Buggy near the bottom. It was so boring, man. Hatchan's adventure about him getting the takoyaki ship, taking out the loan, falling in love, falling out of love. Like it wasn't that fun. The devil fruit thing I think is big. I think that might come back later. One thing it's funny, I have cliff notes over here on the side. One thing I did enjoy was the fact that he saw catfish. Like catfish people. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with meh. I'm fine with meh.
I mean, I might be down to move it down. Like, I'm strictly putting it here because there's a devil fruit appearance. You know, like, that's like decently important, but I could easily go to a lower tier. I love Hatchan, cool character, but yeah, not a whole lot of important stuff happens.
Wasn't Kami and Papagu introduced via this cover page story as well?
He saved them from... Well, actually, so he saves Kami from... I can't remember what he saves her from, but then he immediately sells her to, like, these other fishmen guys. And, like...
The Marco group, right?
Yeah, the whole point of Sabaody was to save Kami from being sold into slavery, and right after Hatchan met her, he's like, I'll let these guys take you. And I'm like, whoa. Like, she does get saved later. His stance on
slavery changed, like, it's like night and day. He's like Moon Knight. One minute he's like, slavery's awful. You know what? You could be sold off into slavery. No, it's bad again.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah.
I remember in the video I did, because I recorded that part months ago at this point, or like a month and a half ago. But I remember having like a little tidbit there where I'm like, this does not make any sense. Like, the Hatchan we know was in the auction house trying to save Kami and all that stuff, and here he is just like, yeah, I'll let these guys take you. Like, what? I don't know. It's a complete flip of character, I feel like.
If Arlong... Kurobi and Chu, if they were in this cover page story, I would like it a lot more. Mm-hmm. But because it's just Hatchan, I would say my least favorite out of the group, you know, I have it kind of low.
Yeah, I think I agree. Our next cover story is one that I actually think is pretty decent, but I want to hear where you have it ranked first. Wapol. Wapol's Omnivorous Hurrah. Where you got that ranked?
Funny enough, I have it at just okay.
Okay. I mean, that's all. I would have probably put it in pretty good, but what are your reasonings?
Wapol is just such a stupid character, right? I don't like Wapol either. You know, just like some of the other characters we mentioned, like you know, I have in the same tier as like Django and Hatchan, but Wapol at least is a funny, hateable character. His journey was so stupid. Eating a tree, eating trash. Even when he's like homeless sitting down, he looks so dumb. And I do giggle a little bit like a little kid whenever I look at his cover page stories. And then just seeing how he stumbled upon greatness with his devil fruit is kind of fun too, right? He made the brand new Wapol medal, and then you see him, I forgot the name of it, like his girlfriend, wife girl.
Like Miss Universe or something, right? I think.
Yeah, he gets her, he gets his own kingdom. It's not bad. It's not a bad story.
See, the thing for me... And this is a big part of my rankings in general, is like, how narratively important is it? That's a lot of my... Because, I mean, how cool the character is, if there's any hype moments, I mean, that stuff matters too, but I'm usually looking at, like, did this cover story end up mattering for the greater context of the story? Like, were there a lot of payoffs from it?
Yeah.
And that's why I would probably have Wapol's somewhere in pretty good, but maybe I'll put it at the top of just okay.
I will say that is something I agree with. I think narrative importance does play a role. It's weird because like you have to balance so many things, right? Narrative importance, how much you like the character, hype moments, reveals, etc. And for Wapol, he did have a really big reveal there about getting that kingdom, because that led him to being in the Reverie years and years and years later.
Exactly.
So that really did matter.
Yeah, and you mentioned Wapol metal. Remember, that's what the Frankie Shogun is made of. And so like without this cover story. You know, Frankie and it's a very special medal because it remembers its old form, like it'll shift back into other shapes or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But it's really important, and I think that matters. And like you said, the Reverie, because not only was he there, but he also saved Vivi, and they're still together right now, right? And so all of that pieces together because of this cover story. So I think it's pretty important in that regard. But I agree that, like, Wapol, I don't like, you know, as, like, a person. And I do think it's pretty cool that, you know, we kicked him out of his old throne in Drum Kingdom, and then he was able to get another one back, and I just think, like, that... It's a pretty big come-up for him. You know, he went from living under the bridge to being the king of this place and marrying Miss Universe, so it's like, you know, we all got a chance.
You convinced me. Put it at pretty good, then.
All right.
You got me.
All right, pretty good. It's our first pretty good.
It's funny because I think about it now. It's like, yeah, since Frankie Shogun is made out of Wapol metal, without him, Frankie would have died to Sasaki. You know, he would have lost that battle.
True. And
like, please, Wapol, I need more metal.
And he may have even lost even earlier, honestly. But
yeah,
and I mean, and it's cool because remember the Frankie Shogun is like made up of a bunch of different parts, right? Like the motorcycle and the Brachio tank and all those different things, and those are made of Wapo metal as well, and that's how they're able to like dock together and all that. So it's like all these cool Frankie things wouldn't have happened without him. I mean, could Oda have just come up with another type of metal? I mean, probably, but it's Wapo metal, so we got to give him some credit. So, pretty good, sounds good to me. Now, I don't remember exactly which one the next one is.
I think it's Ace's Adventure.
Right. Yep, Ace's Great Blackbeard Search. You're correct. So our next one is Ace's. Where you got this one ranked? This one I think is interesting.
I have it at meh to just okay. It just wasn't very eventful. You know, going through it in 2025. It's like, okay, it leads him to finding Blackbeard. We take him through a bunch of different islands. He meets Moda from Leloucia, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
You know, I like seeing Leloucia mentioned there. And then, you know, years later, it gets blown up. That was fun. But outside of that, like I said, it wasn't really that big.
Yeah, I agree.
The payoff wasn't there.
It's almost the opposite of Wapol's, where, like, I like Ace, so I want to rank this high. But there's not a lot that came out of this that ended up mattering that much. You know, I do think it's cool that, like, going to the Moda thing, which shout out Kev DOG, by the way. Moda is, like, one of his favorite characters. But,
really?
Yeah, I know, right? It's so random. He has a Moda emoji on his channel. But we actually, like, get to see her parents who apparently, like, work for the government. They're, like, the heads of the catering ship. Like, they're like, chefs.
Oh, yeah, he had a G8 arc, huh?
Because there was, like, a letter that he was delivering, and something the letter said kind of, like, tricked the Marines to go over there. I think it was about the milk, because she's Moda the milkmaid. And her note said something about that, which got the Marines to go over there and pick some up. But it was all like a ploy because her parents work for the catering ship. So she knew by getting them to come pick up milk, her parents would be the ones coming over there. So she got to see her parents again, which I just like all that. Like, Ace did that for her. And also remember, like, Ace did fall in the river and Moda saved him. Like, he would have died if it wasn't for Moda. So I guess in that context...
Thank you, like, Moda!
Yeah, so Moda stood out here, but seeing Dr. Blackbeard was funny, you know? Like,
him looking around for Blackbeard is like, you're the guy, huh?
Yep.
And then it's just a random doctor.
Yeah, who does kind of look like Blackbeard. Like, not that much, like, in the face or anything. But
he was
does
just,
have,
like, fat.
Yeah, and he also has, like, long black hair that's, like, kind of similar, curly. But, yeah, not that good. Next, I think, is Gedatsu's cover story, I believe.
Gedatsu, man.
So, this one, I'm heavily biased here. Heavily. Beyond... There is nobody on the planet Earth that likes this cover story as much as me, and I'm aware of that. But I still have to put it up here. Now,
my God.
Now, if you want to put it lower, we can talk about that.
You got an A tier.
You know why, right?
It's because of your Pluton theory.
Yep. The Pluton is a mole theory would not exist without the Gedatsu cover story. And if that ends up being true, and it is a mole, and the helmet that had the Mount Fuji symbol ends up being a clue, and all those things end up mattering, then I will feel justified putting it up here. So that's what I'm banking on, is that all that's going to be true, which obviously may not be true. If I was going to remove that and I did not have a theory on it and I was trying to be more objective, it's probably like down here. But
no,
I'm heavily
give
biased.
yourself some more credit. I like Gedatsu, actually. He's not a bad character. His gag is funny. His hair is stupid, though. His hair reminds me like of a cockroach, so I wish he had a different hairstyle.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I did enjoy his cover page story. It's kind of like Wapol in a way, where every week it would just kind of make you laugh. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, what is he doing now? Like, your mole people, like the forest god is in there. Like, so many random, quote, gods appeared, and Gedatsu had to fight them off to build the hot springs. He also didn't want to build the hot springs at first, but then he just ended up doing it. We also met Toto again as well. It's in Alabasta, right?
Well,
like, he's near Alabasta?
They land at Ukari Island and then find the mole, and the mole digs under the sea to Alabasta. So now there's a permanent tunnel under the sea connecting them, where this giant crab takes them from each place.
It's just one of those cover page stories that's so absurd, wacky, and random. I gotta love it to some extent. Like I said, it's just funny. It's just a funny one. I'd have it in pretty good.
And you know what? I'll reason with this just because I know if somebody comes into like the middle of this video and they see that Gedatsu's all the way up there, they're going to be like, well, this is not a serious discussion.
Yeah, no. And here's the thing, right? The payoff can be there. While I don't necessarily believe Pluton is a mole, sorry, Dax. Good theory, though. Good theory. I do think that Gedatsu's cover page story will have hints towards something in the future. So I agree with you. I think it's huge. The narrative importance could pay off later. I mean, hell, we waited, 10 years for Wapols to pay off. We waited 5 years for Hatchans to pay off. Like, yeah, I think Gedatsu's will have a major payoff. And if Pluton's a mole, yeah, dude, put it in, make another tier, make it Z tier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a good theory.
Yeah.
Well, good theory, a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad. And that's kind of how I feel. I mean, obviously, I do think it's going to happen, but even if it doesn't, I feel like the theory speaks for itself. Like, seeing that mole with the Mount Fuji helmet, it's like, okay, that's worth making a theory on, 100%. No matter what. But we'll see. But like you mentioned, they called that mole the dirt boss or the earth boss in certain translations. They called Gedatsu the sky boss. We also met the forest boss. And obviously we know that there's 4 gods in One Piece. The earth god, the sun god, the earth, forest, sun, and rain gods, right? And so it's it feels like there's a parallel there. And I also really like the fact that a Skypian came down to the Blue Sea and he's trying to figure things out. I think that's just kind of cool because we had the reverse situation, right? Where we went up there and we're like, well, this is a whole new world. What's going on? And so I think that's kind of cool. And another thing is whenever Gedatsu lands, there's this random guy who's telling him to dig, help him dig for the hot springs. And that's actually Toto's brother.
Yeah.
The old man who's Koza's dad. So it's Koza's uncle that Gedatsu actually runs into, which I think
we see Koza there too.
Yeah, we see. Yep. Whenever the mole pops up out of the water, in Alabasta. So for all those reasons, I just like it. And like you said, it's funny. So if the theory happens, like you said, Z tier, but I'm happy with pretty good for now. There's just a lot of cool stuff, a lot of fun, new things. So we'll leave it there.
Yeah. That's another way I look at it too, right? If you were reading the manga weekly, would you smile and have fun with each and every installment? Gedatsu, Wapol, 100%. Buggy, probably not. Django, probably not.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my basis.
And I would say Hatchan, maybe definitely not. The devil fruit thing Hatchan. The devil fruit thing was early, so maybe every week I'd be like, okay, are we gonna get some more cool stuff? And so I would have been disappointed kind of every week because I'd be like, we're just getting this, we're getting he's swimming around.
Start frowning more and more.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Yamato cover story. We start with Onigashima in the water, and then it takes Yamato 7 pages to leave the capital. Right? I'm like, all right, well,
yeah,
this is going nowhere fast. But that whole narrative changed last week. But we'll get to that at the very end. We got a lot to talk about. But let's go into Miss Golden Week's cover story. So this one, I want to put it here based off of how important Miss Golden Week is. I think she is beyond important, and a lot of what we saw in that cover story hinted at that. But I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of payoff from it, because basically what happens is she goes and tries to save the other Baroque Works members because they're all locked up, and the main ones just stay locked up anyway. And so they were already in Marine custody, so there wasn't a whole lot of difference made. All we really got to see were more of Miss Golden Week's powers. So I'm gonna go just okay. But I could definitely be reasoned otherwise. But I just think her powers are so important. I think there's definitely a lot of parallels to Emu, because think about Betrayal Black. She was able to paint on Luffy and get Luffy to not help his friends, and that is insane. That's not something you would ever expect. And so I think she's going to come back and have a lot of importance, or at least her paint powers will. But what do you think? Where would you rank this one?
I would have it in the pretty good category. I have this one ranked pretty highly.
Okay.
Miss Golden Week, yes. I think we will see more, quote, natural powers as time goes on. I think Django falls in that same realm.
Yep.
Hell, I mean, look at Emu, right? Emu's whipping out magical books. Yes, I think Miss Golden Week's color therapy magic, that's going to play a bigger role later. And plus, we did see her recently, too, with the Vegapunk message. So Oda has not forgotten about Miss Golden Week and the former Baroque Work agents. Why I really love this one, though, is the odd interactions between Mr. 3, Mr. 2, leading up to the very end, where like I think like they're fighting for each other. Mr. 3 is trying to escape, and they all just get captured by Hina.
Yep.
And then of course I really enjoyed when Miss Golden Week broke into Crocodile's cell in Mr. 1's cell, and she's like, "Hey guys, let's get out of here." And then they're like, "Nope, we're chilling." And then I think she draws up like their dreams, and then we see it like, you know, come to life. And Crocodile, that's when we get the reveal that, well, we kind of already knew this, right? But Crocodile wanted to be Pirate King at one point. That was his dream. And then Mr. 1 wanted to be a hero. He wanted to be a hero of justice.
Yep.
And it's like, what the hell? Yeah. And, you know, it's funny because, you know, thinking about today, that is kind of what Buggy is pushing Crocodile and Mihawk to become, right? Like, hey, remember when you guys wanted to be something better? Which, granted, Mihawk's like the WSS, so I mean, I don't know what else he wants. But, you know, Crocodile, like, he really did start bringing his dream back. And it's like, okay, that's cool. Yep. So I have this up pretty good. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Man, I'm so glad you said all that. Like, you caught the deeper narrative moment there with Crocodile. That's a big reason why I like this one. And I'll get into the Rainbow of Dreams, as it was called, which, like, changed all their outfits into, like, their dream outfits or whatever. But that deeper layer of it, where Crocodile, whenever she does the Rainbow of Dreams, Crocodile has, like, a Pirate King outfit on, but he's mad. He's, like, angry about it, because he gave up on that dream because he lost a Whitebeard. And so back then it would have just been cool on its own, but now with the Cross Guild stuff, with Buggy saying like, well, let's go get the One Piece, like that's what I've always really wanted, let's just go beat everyone there, we can do it. It's like, I think Crocodile in the back of his head, he's not just mad because Buggy's like being like insubordinate, which is weird because Buggy's technically the captain, but you know what I mean. Yeah. But I think it's more so because it's like, dude, like, no, like, I gave up on that. It's too hard. You don't know what you're saying. And it's like, no, Croc, like, you need to get on his level, kind of, mentally. Like, you need to be like him. Buggy's saying it because that's his dream. If he loses, whatever. That's what the whole point of going for your dream is for. It's supposed to be difficult. And if you fail along the way, well, you're kind of supposed to be happy with that because you would be mad if you just never tried, right? So, that deeper element is honestly pushes it up a lot for me because it really matters for the Cross Guild. But as for her powers, like, she basically had Kinemon's fruit. Like, not really, but that's basically what she did, was
almost
use that
a better version.
Yeah, it's a better, and she doesn't even have a devil fruit, which I just think is so broken. Like, how does that, like, that's crazy to me. I don't know how that even happens. And another cool thing is you mentioned like she might come back in the future because she was shown recently in the Egghead, you know, reactions to the Vegapunk message. Well, she also had an apple on her head, just like Vegapunk. Like, why would you do that, Oda? Like, she got it whenever she did the Rainbow of Dreams thing, but I'm like, there's two characters in One Piece who have apples on their head, and it's Vegapunk and Miss Golden Week. Like, what is there more to the story there? Not that they're related or anything, but it's just like, I don't know. It makes me feel like she's important mainly. So I'm glad you ranked this one pretty good because this one I think is
I love it.
It's gonna pay off majorly later on.
And plus, we see more Hina, one of the best captains in One Piece.
Hina is all over the place in these early cover stories, man. Like
she is.
Like, and we didn't really talk about it, but whenever Mr. 2 is like, you know, fighting Hina or whatever, like remember he fought her at the end of Alabasta, so it's like a grudge match again against Hina.
Yeah, and he loses again.
But he's also protecting his friends again, right? He like pretended to be Mr. 3. He used the clone powers to pretend to be Mr. 3, and then he was able to like break out of the rope or whatever and start fighting. So like he gave everybody time, and I mean that's just Mr. 2 for you, man. He's the GOAT, Bon Clay. So. Yeah,
and another reason I love this is because this explains why Mr. 4, Miss Groundhog's Day, Miss Golden Week, etc. are not at Impel Down. Because I remember back, funny enough, you know, by the time we got to Impel Down, I was reading weekly at that time. And some of my friends were like, hey, where's the rest of Baroque Works? It's like, well, like, they're not here. Like, they're actually all gone by now.
Yeah.
And they're like, huh? What? It's like, well, cover page stories, guys. And then I got beat up because I was a little kid, and everybody's like, you nerd.
Yeah. There's a lot of those moments, I feel like, where like people move around in the cover stories because basically the entire point of them is like to show us where enemies from the prior arc end up, more or less. It's like to move the enemies from where we defeated them to the next point that we meet them. And this one did a lot of legwork in that regard, you know, getting the top members of Baroque Works over to Impel Down, getting the lower members free over to some desert island, which personally I think is the same desert island that Shanks went to a wedding on, because there's only so many desert islands in One Piece, and I doubt that one's Alabasta, because, like, I don't know if Shanks would be welcome there, because Vivi's trying to, like, not be friends with pirates, you know what I mean? And I don't think Baroque Works would be welcome back there either, so I feel like it's on a different desert island somewhere. It's probably the same one, but, you know, we'll see. We'll see about that. So next, I believe, is what is probably the most well-known cover story, which is Enel's Great Space Operation. So I'm just going to put this up here at the top. Do you have any pushback on that?
No. I have this near the top as well. Seeing Enel be Enel is hilarious. You know, if people thought that, oh, you know, once Skypia's over, he's gonna change. You know, he's gonna be a different guy. Not the case. Enel went to the moon, immediately started attacking everybody on sight, even the people who were not hostile towards him, and he now has control over an entire automaton army. He took over the space pirates. He also saw the mural on the moon, and it's like, okay, this is wild, right? At least for all the other cover page stories, we know how it ties back in, or how Oda could tie back in to the main, to the Straw Hat storyline. Enel, we have no clue. His is such an anomaly. We don't know if he's ever gonna come back, or if this is just gonna be forgotten about. And then we had the mural, and then we saw the Arc Maxim there, or what we believe to be the Arc Maxim, and it's like, okay, he is gonna come back, I think. I don't know. I love it. I think I would have it in the top tier, just because of how often it is also referenced, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, seeing Enel up there, and then the whole thing where it's like, oh, these are the 3 ancient weapons, possibly. And then Enel learning that, you know, his people, the Birkins, they came from the moon. They went down to Skypiea, and then here's Enel doing the exact opposite, and he's like, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Why'd that happen? It's great. It's great.
Somebody going to space in One Piece, like, that's worth a high tier on its own, because that's not something we've ever seen. And then the fact that he goes up there, like you said, he starts attacking everybody, which actually ends up helping, because the first couple people he attacks, or the first person for sure, is one of the automata, but it's the one that that was made by Dr. Tsukimi on Karakuri Island. And he went up there with the balloons.
Island.
But because that automata was, like, dead, like it ran out of battery or whatever, Enel actually activated it by shocking it. And so I just think that's kind of fun. So it's like his powers, like, don't hurt everybody. It helps some people. And even whenever he goes into, like, the city, he just blasts electricity everywhere and it lights everything up. So it's just like, it's kind of like the idea that, like, devil fruits always go to the right person, like the right will matches the fruit or whatever, because, like, not only did he want to go to the fairy Verth, not only is he a Birkin, which, you know, the Birkins are from this island, or from this planet, or not a planet, the moon, whatever. But it's like his fruit was perfect to bring everything back. And so that also makes me think, well, maybe there was a electric fruit user, lightning fruit user, whatever, on the moon in the past, and then maybe once that user died, that's why they ran out of resources and had to leave, is like they couldn't power everything on without that fruit anymore, which that's like just a theory, but I just think it's so cool that he was like the literal perfect person to like piece all that together. I imagine that either his ancestor or someone who has like a similar will to him was probably like the leader of the moon or something back in the day. And remember, he also had the Skypians build the Arc Maxim. It was like God's army that he forced to do it. But that shows that Enel has to be pretty smart. Like, we don't really know all the details. Like, did he have blueprints? Were they fixing up an old Arc Maxim that, like, they had already found? Like, we don't know all the details, but he has to be pretty smart. So I think in general, this one's just amazing. And you also touched on the mural. We saw the Elbaf mural. The murals here have a lot of similarities to the Elbaf one, in my opinion. Like the little like track where like the automata are being made on. It looks like that same kind of track was on the mural in Elbaf. So, you know, I got a lot of hopes he's going to show up, and I feel like this cover story is just going to pay massive dividends.
Dude, and not to mention, like, with the space pirates, you know, it's one thing, it's like, oh, okay, you know, Enel's fighting somebody on the moon, and then you stop and think about it, you're like, wait a minute, Enel is fighting space pirates on the moon? There's people in outer space just sailing around on ships?
How?
Like, I doubt it's gonna happen, but it's not impossible that somebody just comes down from the sky from a different planet in the One Piece world. It's not crazy. And the only other time we've seen aliens like this was in a Panda Man story on like the back of volume covers.
Yeah, I remember
where
that.
It's like, oh yeah, Panda Man is going around and like a UFO came down or something. It's like, what the hell? Like this can happen.
Yeah.
They exist.
And the thing about the space pirates is that their Jolly Roger looks like Vegapunk's head. And I'm like,
yeah.
Is Vegapunk the one who sent you guys up there? Is that why Dr. Tsukimi, who's on Karakuri Island, which like you said is where Vegapunk was born, is that why he was looking at the moon and why his automata went up there? Is there like a whole story here with Vegapunk and the moon that we aren't fully aware of yet? And Vegapunk will get cloned and come back in Egghead or in Elbaf at some point, I should say. So if Vegapunk comes back and Enel shows up in Elbaf, I don't know if there's going to be a whole discussion there. Like, Vegapunk's like, oh, are you the guy who took out my crew up on the moon? Hey, I was working on stuff up there. Like, remember, Vegapunk, like, figured out stuff about the Void Century. That's, why Egghead kind of happened. And so I wouldn't put it past him to also be looking on the moon for stuff, because maybe he found out, oh, wait, there was a civilization up there. Maybe I should go up there and see what's going on. The fact the head looks that way is making me think brain fruit is involved. So I don't know, man. It's going to pay massive dividends eventually.
Crazy story.
Yeah, hard to believe. And also, it hasn't been animated yet, which is blasphemy.
A lot of these haven't been animated. We stopped, I think, right after Buggy's, really. Buggy and Koby's.
For the full adaptations, yes, but then what Oda does, or what he's done a couple times for Wapol, for example, whenever Wapol came back, then they animated it, so that way we got updated. Because like it kind of makes sense, because like why would you show the animated version of the cover story like hundreds and hundreds of episodes before the person comes back? Because then you kind of have to show them again anyway. Because like the viewers will forget what happened. It's kind of like for Enel. Like if they showed us this cover story in the anime back when it happened, which was like I think like around the 400s or something in the chapters, or 300s or something. It was like a little bit after Skypiea. Well, Enel still hasn't come back. Like this hasn't mattered yet, so it kind of makes sense that they're waiting.
Yeah.
Maybe Enel will later. That's my hope.
Ooh, the next one is gonna be crazy.
Is the next one's CP9's independent report, I believe.
It is.
Where you got this one?
CP9. I'm biased. I'm like you. This is my Gedatsu. I just love CP9.
Okay.
Not a lot of theories you can cook off of it, to be fair, right? There's not like any big theories like, oh, like, it's blah, blah, there's parallels here. No, I just love seeing Rob Lucci and the gang. They're one of my favorite groups in One Piece. So seeing them post in Ace Lobby, seeing that they were actually hunted by the world government and Marines is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
They fought their hardest, they lost, and now it's like, hey, now they're going to get executed. It's like, wait, what? So seeing them hide away for a little bit, seeing them try to earn money in regular ways to just help Rob Lucci recover is great. I think there's like a scene where like Jabra and Kaku, they took Zoro's advice and they became like a little bit of a petting zoo for kids. Mm-hmm. And just seeing them interact with people normally, I think is a lot of fun. Because at the end of the day, right, they're not like true villains. They're just doing their job, and they still do believe in their own twisted sense of justice. So yeah, seeing them like be nice people, I think is a nice change of pace. And then of course, pirates come by, and then they defend the town from the pirates. But when they're fighting the pirates, they're like murdering them. So much so that the civilians are like, whoa, 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 what the hell? Like these are our heroes? Like what's going on here? And then they sail off. They go to their home island, where I believe they're raising the next generation of Cyberpol agents.
Yep.
And then Marines chase them there. And then we have this really cool shot of CP9 all transformed, and it says, do not mess with our hometown, or something like that. Do not mess with our island. Leave the kids alone. And then they just murdered all these Marines. And then we have a call between Lucci and Spandim, and he's like, yeah, like I'm coming to get you. And then we cut away, 600 chapters later, they're now CP0. Yep. It's like, yeah, that's sick. I love it. Just seeing how they are a crew, right? Exactly. Like they cared about Rob Lucci, they cared about each other, and I just love seeing villains have that dynamic. So I have it really high up there.
Yeah, I actually agree with a lot of what you were saying. I might put it in pretty good, but basically
that is fair too. I'm biased,
but basically what you're saying is the reasons I like it is that it humanized CP9 a lot. right? Like they're no longer just these, brainwashed assassins. Like they were relatively normal people, like you said. Like they're like a crew. Like they obviously care for each other, and that was also exemplified in Egghead. Remember when Lucci told Mars, like, "Hey, can you please save Kaku?" And he's like, "Well, we can't save a single insect when you're exterminating the hive." And Lucci's like, "Bruh, like, come on." Like, he doesn't actually say that, but that's what he's thinking is bruh. But the reason why it humanizes them so much isn't just the crew, but for one thing, we get like some slice of life stuff. Like they go shopping. Well, like you said,
bowling.
Bowling, which I'm like, we got time for that? And then Khalifa like swung the ball so hard it like exploded on the back wall, and then Jabra was getting ready to throw another one, and I'm like, bro, like, you need to, I don't know, hang out in society a little more. Like, go touch grass more often, because obviously they don't understand, how to act normal. But it was good to see them doing those kind of things, right? It made them feel more like normal people. But the thing that really convinced me was after they beat the Candy Pirates, I believe, then this little girl comes and gives them a flower, and all of them are like kind of freaking out. And Khalifa is the one reaching for it, but all of them are kind of freaking out. And it humanized them because they did take the flower, but it showed them like they aren't used to that. They aren't used to like little kids coming up and saying thank you, like you saved my family or whatever. Like that's like a new feeling for them. But at the end of the cover story, we see that flower planted on their home island. Yeah. And so they obviously did care for it, right? They cared enough for that flower that they got from that girl to take it to their homeland and actually plant it. And I bet you at some point in the future, we're going to see that flower again. It's going to be like really big. It's just telling that if they weren't brainwashed from a young age, all these Cypherpole agents might have been normal people. They might have just been pirates. They might have been
saved
allies.
A town from pirates. Like they might even be that. They might just be like Marines even.
Yeah.
Or like protectors of a village.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're really cool.
And going back to their homeland real quick, I thought that was like it's an interesting scene because they're excited to be back on their homeland, but their homeland is a training ground for brainwashed orphans to become assassins. So it's like bittersweet,
Good
right?
Times, Like I bet they looked at it like, I remember fighting people back here. That was great.
It's good and bad, because it's good that they found a lot of friends and had good memories of this place, but it's also bad because, well, it would be a lot better if they met under other circumstances, mainly.
Yeah, and another thing too is that after Luffy beats people or after villains are defeated, some of them kind of stagnate. They don't grow stronger. They just kind of stay where they are. They regress even. Crocodile, I guess, would be a okay example where he gave up his dream on becoming Pirate King. Moria, another example, after Kaido killed his crew, he just kind of gave up and became fat and had zombies. CP9, they never gave up. Not once.
Mm-hmm.
They kept on going. And they, like you said, they trained. Like, they wanted to get stronger. And it's like, yeah, if Rob Lucci can do it, yeah, like, I think other villains can too. Just lock in, man.
Yeah, like you said, it's usually they get worse, but it's almost like losing to Luffy drove them to be better. And that just makes them so interesting. And obviously, CP0 came back in Egghead, and they're probably going to have a role in the future as well. So this one's going to end up mattering, I feel like. Hopefully we see that flower again. That's like the one thing I'm really dying to see.
Yeah.
Next, we are on to, I believe it's the Straw Hat Separation Serial?
Yeah, Straw Hats Separated.
And so I just want to say real quick, we are technically skipping one that's called the Where Are They Now series. It was a 7-chapter...
thank God.
It was a 7-chapter cover story, but we'll just rope that into the Decks of the World, because that was like the prototype for Decks of the World. But Where Are They Now was 7 chapters, and I think it happened... It happened, like, we got part of it before Enel's and then part of it before CP9's, but we'll just rope it into the other one because it's only 7 pages. But I do think one of the pages is important. But we'll talk about the Straw Hat Separation serial. So this one, this might be a little bit of a hot take. It might be an unpopular opinion. But I think I'm going to put this one in meh.
I have it in just okay, so meh's totally fine.
Okay, because we got way more in the actual manga and in the anime for the time skip stuff than we got in the cover stories. Like, the cover stories barely gave us any extra information. So they were kind of pointless in my mind. So
it was redundant.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, if you watch the anime and you read the manga, like, you don't have to really check out the cover page stories. Is it cool? Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's not bad. It's not special. Not special.
I remember whenever I was editing that, I almost debated just saying in my main video on this, like, all right, so now we're on to this one. Honestly, just go watch the anime. All right, on to the next one. Because it's like, there's just nothing new. So I want to be clear, like, the Straw Hats time skip stuff, A+, awesome, love it. The cover stories on it just suck, to be honest. So this is not exemplary of our thoughts on the time skip, but just the cover
we
story.
love the time skip. We love what they did, but cover pages, nah, not so much.
Next one, I believe, is From the Decks of the World Part 1, I believe. So I'm a huge fan of From the Decks of the World. Massive fan, I would say. I almost want to put it in must read. You know what? I am going to do it.
I have it in pretty good. That's good too. Mine is pretty good. Having it in the must category. Yeah, definitely. It's because we haven't seen a lot of those characters before.
Yes.
It's been a while since we've revisited some of them, and I kind of wish that Oda did this nowadays too, right? Post arc, I love just revisiting, like, oh, here's Syrup Village, ooh, here's Vivi, like, yeah, I don't care about these characters that much, but I love seeing that little, like, oh, like, how would they react to the Straw Hats today? What are they up to? I just love getting that little catch up. So yeah, Decks of the World, it does hold a special place in my heart. So yeah, high tier.
Cool.
For sure.
I'm really glad you feel that way. From the Decks of the World, like, it almost makes me emotional in a little bit, because the way that it was, like, written is that Oda went in sequential order, right? So he started, he starts with Dedan, which isn't really sequential, but it's sequential from Luffy's perspective, because he knew Dedan before he started his journey. But then we actually go through and see everyone in order. So we see, we go back to Shell's Town, and we see Rika, right? We go to Shimotsuki Village, and we see Koshiro. We go to all those different places. One of my favorites is Orange Town, because we see Shushu has a giant new pet food store, and I just love that. That's like the type of thing where Oda knows, like, we want to see that. We want that to happen. It's been 2 years. We're after the time skip at this point, because the point of this cover story is how everyone reacted to the Straw Hats returning, because they all thought that they had disappeared for 2 years, right? So seeing Shushu get a new pet food store, I was like, I'm all about that. And there was just a lot of cool things like that called back to earlier. I think when we went to
Johnny and
Skypiea, Johnny and Yusaku, we saw them again. There's a lot of people that we haven't seen since and may never see again that we're seen from the Decks of the World to remind us that, like, they're still out here, they're still alive, they're still following the Straw Hats, and I just love it. So I'm glad
we also had that's when we first saw I was about to say Crocus, but Scopper.
Oh, yep.
That's the Scopper Laboon one, yeah. That's high up there, yeah.
Dory,
Brogy, yep. Wapol, Dalton, Kureha. People trying to get Vivi's attention.
Yeah. Does Kureha have the Ishii 100 in that one, or is that the other Decks of the World?
Actually, no. It's this one. I'm seeing it. Okay. Yeah, she's got all the doctors behind her.
Yeah, because remember how it was the Ishii 20? Now it's the Ishii 100, which I think is kind of cool. And one thing I also want to mention is we said earlier that we're going to include the Where Are They Now series in this one. And one of the pages of the Where Are They Now series had Iceberg's secretary tryouts or secretary auditions.
Her name's Alicia, right?
The one who wins, yeah, because he's having the tryouts back then. So we see her in line, but there's like a bunch of other people in line too that are vying for it. But Alicia, however you say her name, she wins. And later, during the Egghead announcement, like when Vegapunk's doing his thing, she actually wakes Iceberg up in the middle of the night because it's nighttime at Water 7. And she's like, hey, I already sent a summons out to the whole city to come to the town, and I'm already setting up the transponder snail. Everything's all good. And like Iceberg's still waking up, so he doesn't understand. And he's like, wait, is everyone going to get there in time? And she's like, we got it. We're good. Just get up and go out there. And I'm like, damn, she knows what she's doing, right? Like, he picked the right one. And apparently she's only 10 years old, or I don't know if she's 10 now, or like, I think she was 10 back then, so she's 12 now, or maybe she's 10 in the post-time skip. I can't remember. But either way, she's like a girl genius, and I think that's pretty cool. Because Iceberg's also a genius, by the way. Like, he's going to make Water 7 float, so I feel like she's going to have a little bit of a role. because she already has.
Yeah, she is. So she's currently 10 years old. She was 8 during her debut.
That's wild. So,
absolutely wild.
I feel like she's gonna matter, but overall, Decks of the World, A+ for me. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, A+ for sure. You convinced me. I had it in pretty good, and I'm like, yeah, it covered so much. Put it in a must read.
Cool.
100%.
Seeing all those old characters, man, it's awesome. But now I believe we're on to Caribou's Ki-Hi-Hi in the New World, I think is the next one.
Caribou, huh? Yeah.
I think it's just okay. What do you think?
I had it in pretty good, but just to even it out, just to balance the scales, we can keep it in just okay.
Okay, we'll put it at the top.
I thought it was just fun. We have a lot of cover page stories do this. It's very much like Django, where he's like, I'm getting out of here. Actually, wait a minute. I have kindness in my heart. I'm gonna go back and help you. Like, he went through all of that. What the grandma mistook Caribou for her dead grandson or something.
Yep. Well,
yeah, it's so funny.
So she acted like she was mistaking him for her grandson, but at the very end,
right?
The final page, she goes to Gabiru's grave and says, like, basically, I like Caribou because he looks like my deceased grandson. Like, she knew that his name was Caribou and that he just looked like him. So she was, like, faking it the whole time because it was, like, to her, she had her grandson back for a while. And she didn't want to tell him, like, oh, I know you're the pirate Caribou. It was almost better for her to have, like, that moment of having her grandson back, even if it was, like, a lie for a little bit. So I thought that was kind of touching. And another thing is, she gave him some meat pies, and she also gave him one, like, as he was getting dragged away by Scotch. And I wonder if that last meat pie in particular was given to Luffy and Wano. I don't know if that's, like, if we can see it in any of the panels. I haven't looked.
I remember back when this happened, people were bringing it up because they're like, oh, this is one of the main, points when it comes to Caribou working for Blackbeard eventually because of the meat pie.
Oh,
right, because there was like because the meat in the pie, right? Like, Luffy was the meat, he loved the meat, but he hated the pie. Blackbeard loved the pie, hated the meat. And because, like, the way Oda did it, I remember the text, on one side of the box it said meat, on the other side it said pie. So, like, oh, like, Caribou just got done with the meat, now he's going to the pie, which is Blackbeard. And that was a theory that's been going on for a long while now, before we got the Egghead reveal that Caribou is inspired by Blackbeard. So I think that was like a sign all along.
Wow.
And then, of course, the ending of his cover page story, it is meaningful because it goes into Wano and it explains how he got there, which is nice.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting theory. I never thought of it that way. Huh. That is kind of cool. Like, he helped out the meat lover and now he's going to the pie lover, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, that's interesting. The other kind of theory that I think could come out of this eventually is the Gabiru thing, because Gabiru, to me at least, looks like he's wearing Freedom Fighter uniform.
He looked like Dragon.
Yeah, he reminded me of Dragon a lot, and they even called him the Child of Revolution. And I'm like, okay, like, that sounds like some Revolutionary Army stuff, but he's already dead, and, you know, they didn't say Revolutionary Army, they just had, like, these military kind of outfits on. So I think that Dragon might have been in the Freedom Fighters with Gabiru, but maybe once Gabiru died, because maybe he was the leader of it, maybe Dragon was like, well, I'm going to go do my own thing then. Like, now that he's gone, you know, now that, like, if he's not going to be the leader, I don't want to be a part of this. I'm going to go start my own organization. And so I think that might be a cool outcome of it. I feel like that would be, like, a crazy come up for Caribou, because, like, I don't know if Caribou is going to be related to Gabiru, but they look the exact same. And I know there's
literally identical.
And there's theories now that Wang Ji is Caribou's dad, and, like, I mean, who knows what's going to end up being true, but this Gabiru thing, I feel like it's going somewhere. I don't know exactly what.
Imagine Blackbeard and his group fights Dragon in the Revs, and then Dragon looks at Caribou's like, Gabiru? Oh, no, that's not him.
Dude. I want
so
that.
Funny.
Now that you say
like
that, I want
a small
that.
tie-in.
That's kind of cool. I love that idea. But next we have Jinbe's cover story. Now this one I think is going to end up being massively important. Because, like, this poneglyph, I mean, poneglyphs in general are really important. But Jinbe didn't just find a poneglyph. He found one in some underwater ruins, right? That is...
Yes.
That's like, okay, now that we know that the world flooded back in the day, that adds a lot of new context to this cover story. Now, I will say, the kind of only important thing that happens is Jinbe finds the poneglyph. He also like befriends Wadatsumi, which they already knew each other, but like they team up kind of. And if Wadatsumi didn't follow Jinbe, then he wouldn't have been in Whole Cake to save the Sunny. Remember, because Wadatsumi played kind of a key role there. So there is like a little bit of narrative importance in that regard, but really the poneglyph is the main thing. And if this ended up being one of Big Mom's 3 poneglyphs in the throne room, or in the poneglyph room, the treasure room, whatever, which I believe it is, then the Straw Hats have a copy of this one. Right?
They should, yes.
So Robin has read this one. So I think this one is actually going to be the Uranus poneglyph. The poneglyph for the sea god was found in the sky. So maybe the poneglyph for the sky god should be found in the sea, right? It's like kind of inverting in that regard. I think I want to go just okay, but I could go up or down on this one, I think.
I would have it at just okay, just because the journey wasn't exciting.
Yeah.
But I think the payoff is there. And not to mention, people bring up the Umibozu theory for Emu all the time. That even happened for, I think, Jupiter for a little bit before he learned he was just the giant worm when we just had the silhouette. Mm-hmm. And in this cover page story, Umibozu is actually name dropped here, and that was Wadatsumi, which is kind of funny.
Oh, that's right, because they had the offering table thing, or like the little pier out in the ocean to give offerings. That's right.
They were giving offerings to Umibozu, the sea god. And they're like, yeah, like everything just keeps on being taken mysteriously, and we got to give offerings, and then it's actually just Wadatsumi being an idiot.
Yeah, just throwing ruins up there. He's like, well, they're giving me offerings, so I wanted to give them homes like in return, and it's like, dude, you're throwing these on top of their houses, like you're breaking their house. Like, what's going on?
It's so funny, and then it's funny because I think Wadatsumi, I think the cover page was called Meeting Umibozu, the Sea God, and then it says no thanks necessary, and I'm looking at it right now. Wadatsumi's like, thank you, Jinbe.
Yeah.
thank you. I know I've done a good job.
Yeah. Well, Wadatsumi's like unironically hilarious. Like he doesn't try, but he's hilarious.
It's like a big Labubu.
And I just thought, going back to the Umibozu thing, I didn't really make this connection when I was doing the video, but at the beginning of Thriller Bark, didn't we hear like that the barrel they found was an offering to the sea god, right? And that's what got them tied into Thriller Bark and all that kind of stuff. So that's like something we've already seen before. So that's pretty interesting. Definitely helps the Emu as an Umibozu agenda, or whatever, however you view that theory. But I feel like there's a lot of Umibozu theories out there. So
also, we have a pretty cool panel too where you see Wadatsumi, or I say panel, it's like a page, where Wadatsumi is singing, and everybody's singing on an island. And in the background, you see the moon. And a lot of these cover pages, and in One Piece in general, you see a lot of imagery with people singing under the full moon. And this is just another one of those examples. And it's like, okay, there's going to be something here.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Damn. Yeah, this is... Yeah. I feel like this is one of those cover stories, as with a lot of them, but this one in particular, where like once all the payoff is done, I feel like this one's going to be a lot bigger than it feels right now. But I mean, hey, we found a poneglyph. That's more than what a lot of these people can say.
A poneglyph that we never mentioned again. It's kind of like the filler poneglyph we saw in Alabasta in the anime.
Yep.
We see it, never going to mention it.
We're good. The one that Robin found when she was like running as like an 8-year-old. She like found it in a forest, and we never have talked about it ever. Which Robin never talks about the poneglyphs until like the person that she needs to talk to about it is right in front of her. Like Sukiyaki and Wano, it's like,
oh my god! And then she's like, "I knew all along. Pluton is here, huh?" I was like, Robin, that was like 20 years ago. You could have told us, the audience, at least.
Yeah, please. Like Oda, like if the crew can't know for whatever reason, fine. Just have Robin like write in a diary, and put, Pluton's over here. It's like, oh my god, wait, what? I can't wait till we go there. But
yeah.
So Robin knows a lot of stuff.
I think it's just Oda playing his, he's holding his cards close to his chest, He doesn't want to like reveal too much right away. Yeah. Probably because he hasn't like fully decided yet. I think that's how I view it typically.
Yeah, I agree. So next one, we're on to From Decks of the World V2, the 500 million man arc. So this one I do like, but I don't know if it hits quite as hard as the first one, because the first Decks of the World, that was the first time we got to see a lot of those people in a long time. And so like seeing Dadan here, it's like, well, we saw Dadan in the other one, and that wasn't that long before this, so it didn't hit quite as hard, but I still liked it. I still liked it a lot, because again, we get to see all these old people that we met in the past, and they're all reacting to the post-Dressrosa bounties, essentially. So I think maybe like near the top of just okay, but I could be reasoned elsewhere. What do you think?
Honestly, like it's just okay.
All right. We'll leave it there.
I don't have it super high. Like, not a lot of big reveals were there. I guess the biggest one, it goes back to a theory you talked about a while back, which I really enjoy. Heracles, yeah. The Heracles one stands out, but I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with the Buggy and Django one, right? One good one doesn't carry, per se.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah, we had the Shank's Wedding one there, too. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh,
Shank's Wedding.
That's the other big one. That's right.
Yeah.
And that one is like, we haven't had the payoff of it, and I'm sure it will matter. I'm not sure how big it'll be. Like we said earlier, I doubt it's Alabasta because Vivi doesn't really try to hang out with pirates. And we also know Vivi didn't get married because she was telling Cobra that she's still single or whatever whenever they were going to the Reverie. So we know it's not her. So it's like, how big can this really be? And I'm not saying it's going to be small. I don't have like a long list of names in my head that this could possibly be that would like really motivate me. So I'm not expecting a lot from the Shanks thing, although it does matter because like, Shanks is coming to a wedding. That's got to be somebody close to him. So, but Heracles though, like you said, that's the big one to take away from this. One thing I noticed since we talked, and I don't know if you already knew this or maybe if you mentioned it, but I just noticed it when I was editing this video the other day. You know that Tentada also ride on flying beetles?
Yes.
Isn't that weird that the two groups that tie to Usopp that closely ride on flying beetles?
Oh, I did not see it like that, but yeah.
Heracles and the Tentada.
Don't they have like little strings tied to the beetles? They ride like they ride them like little helipads or something, right?
Yeah, I saw it in, I can't even remember what clip it was, but I had to get a clip and I just like randomly came across that and I'm like, whoa, what? And it also makes me think, like, there's probably going to be beetles like that in Elbaf that fly, because I also think about Noland, because Noland obviously ties to the Tentada. There's a lot of theories that he's going to tie to the Giants, because he's, him and Usopp have a lot of connections. He was also a botanist, which Heracles is very familiar with that, so it's like, there's a lot of Noland stuff there. And so I feel like we're going to find out there's, like, giant beetles in Elbaf, and I don't know if Noland would have, like, ridden one or something, but I don't know. Those beetles, man. We know Luffy loves them.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. Okay, so they ride them like normal. I feel like there was another Tontada who had like a beetle attached to string and they were like holding on to it. But yeah, either way, like beetles are massive.
Like the reins on like a horse, you mean? Like he's pulling the string that way? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean like they were holding on to like a string and then the beetle was just flying on top of them.
Oh, I get you. They're hanging below
Somebody did that.
Maybe that was like to like get dropped off for like a military mission.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like they were getting dropped off.
It's like a paratrooper.
Hopefully, somebody out there knows what I'm talking about, so I'm not crazy. But yeah.
Yeah.
Riding beetles, the two characters closest to Usopp. Interesting.
It's very, very weird. And we saw one in Strong World also. That I think it breathes fire, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Hey, big beetles in Elbaf, Luffy would love that. I think that's going to be funny enough, I think most people feel this way, but insects are going to tie in heavily to the Void Century. Like, there's going to be some explanation as to why the Gorosei and Emu refer to people as insects, specifically.
Because they didn't do it just once. Because if it's just once, it might be like they view them as like lesser than, right? They don't care. But they've done it so many times. Like the exterminating the hive thing that Mars said. Saturn said that humans will repopulate like insects no matter how low their numbers get. And there's like maybe even double-digit other examples at this point.
There was another one with Emu who called the Geek Clan empty shells.
Yeah,
which like husk of like a beetle.
Yeah, husk. Yeah, exactly.
That's like, interesting.
A lot of insect lore there, and also Saturn. I mean, I guess spiders aren't insects, right? They're arachnids, but close enough.
Yeah.
He was also a spider, so it's like I don't know. Maybe there's gonna be something there. So next one. This is another one that I'm heavily biased towards. So you're gonna have to tone this one down, because I love the Grand Fleet. I'm a massive Grand Fleet fan. You know what? I almost want to go must read. I almost want to.
No.
Where you got
just
him?
Put it in pretty good. I have it in meh. I have it in meh, so I'll compromise that pretty good.
I'll go top of just okay. Because now we have like a normal distribution going here. So, although
this is actually wow, it's very balanced.
Although I feel like
good curve.
I would almost maybe want to make that swap instead and put Gedatsu.
What? You bring Gedatsu down?
I don't know if Gedatsu should be at the top of that. Maybe
okay, fair.
Like Wapol, maybe Wapol should be down. Maybe that. How do you feel about that?
I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not the biggest Grand Fleet fan. They're not my favorite group out there in the world. The cover page story is, yes, meaningful, right? With Sai and Leo going to the Reverie. That's when Barto burned Shanks' flag.
Yep.
We had like just a bunch of like random things here. Oh yeah, and we met the new Giant Warrior Pirates. That's where we got the Roto tease, where he will be back.
That's where Tekking
we even
got
saw
the theory.
Bellamy as well.
Do you remember how like Tekking predicted that the sun god in Elbath was going to be Roto just because of his shoes, because of that cover story?
Yep.
It's wild.
Yeah. We even had like the Sai and was it like Baby 5? Is that the girl's name?
Yeah, Baby 5. They got married.
Yeah, we had their wedding.
But the bigger thing for me in that part is that we met Uho Licia, who it was Sai's like a fiance at the time. She's a very, very, very muscular woman, and she has 25 other husbands. So she's just like kind of like Big Mom, but a little bit different. But the thing about her is that she's the daughter of Chi-Chi Licia, who is the leader of the Nihon Navy. So like they were gonna have a political marriage, like her and Sai, where they were gonna combine the Happo and Nihon navies. But because he married Baby 5, that didn't happen. And so going back to the Big Mom thing. That's kind of a Big Mom theme, right? Like, remember how she has all these marriages to get more like political power, and some of them fall apart, like Germa and the Giants. And now we're seeing the same thing happen, and this woman also has a bunch of husbands. So I think that's a pretty fun parallel. But I just think that's interesting because, like, I can definitely see the Nihon Navy and Uho Licia pulling up in the final war at some point. She was also in the Vegapunk announcement too, which is cool.
So there's a lot of good things here. I think there's a lot of very, relevant plot lines. Probably not super relevant, but I loved Orlumbus's adventure of just him going through his daily routine. Orlumbus is like the only Grand Fleet member where I'm like, okay, he's kind of fire. But his is just so stupid.
That's so...
Yeah, Orlumbus is my number one.
Well, it's so funny because he's probably my least favorite, but it's for the same reason you said, where I'm like, what are we gonna do with this guy? Like, what is special about Orlumbus? Like he leads.
He's just Christopher Columbus in One Piece.
Yeah. His number 2 is Columbus, which is like, I don't know. I think it's pretty hilarious because I think he is based on like Christopher Columbus, but then he has Columbus in his crew, and I'm like, okay, like.
And then his ships are named after him too. And then the way he fights is so silly. He screams at his opponents and then they just like follow him or something?
Oh, I don't even remember that. I just know he has a whip, which he's only used like one time, so I don't really know.
Yeah, he has a whip, and what he did in Dressrosa was he said, "Attention!" And then like I think Doflamingo's people just saluted, and then they're like, "Wait, why are we saluting him?" And then he just like picked one of them up and just threw them. I was like, "What?"
That's crazy. What?
Yeah,
I genuinely
Orlumbus
didn't
is
know.
Great.
There was actually something I noticed when I was editing the video, and I don't think I ever ended up including it, but I guess a little theory on Orlumbus that we can talk about. Why was he called the phony adventurer or the fake adventurer? There's a couple different translations of it.
I don't know.
Or the imposter adventurer, something like that. Like it's like he's a fake.
Yeah, and then another one of his epithets is the massacre ruler.
Yep. Here, I'll send you the panel if it helps. But yeah, I found this when I was doing the video, and I'm like, the phony. This is the only time we've heard it, is like the phony adventurer or whatever they say. And I'm like, what is that? What does that mean? And maybe it ties into the cover story where he's like, well, I'm going to be a pirate now. Like he quit being an adventurer for the Standing Kingdom so he could be a pirate and be a part of the fleet. But then whenever he actually goes and like has his first pirate mission, he like tries to attack an island. He finds out that they're really poor and destitute, so he gives them supplies instead. So I don't know if it's a play on that, like he's too nice to be an actual adventurer or an actual captain because he's not like, able to hurt anybody. Maybe that's why, but I don't know. Orlumbus is kind of interesting.
I'm looking at his thing right now. It just says that he did something early on in his life to have him have the name of Made Up Explorer.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, Made Up Explorer. I like that one the most. Because it's like, is he not really an explorer? Like, they just say that he is, but he's not, because maybe all of his adventures are just BS as a part of the Standing Kingdom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or maybe, like, he said he was going to explore an island, and then he really just became a pirate instead. So he, like, lied to people.
He never became a pirate until the cover story. And so he got the name before the cover story. So it has to be something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe
Eventually
it's because
that's going to be explained.
Maybe it's because he has like this huge fleet, so he never has to actually do anything. Like, he never actually has to beat anybody. You know, it's like really easy for him to go around. It's like, yeah, I'd be able to sail all the seas too if I had 56 ships and 4,300 people. You know, like, nobody has that other than him. I don't know. I like this cover story a lot, though. I mean, Orlumbus, I like how it ends, because, like I mentioned, he goes and is supposed to steal from people, but sees they're poor and gives them supplies, and he laments over this and is like, man, my first pirate attempt I was a big failure. And I was like,
it was awful.
But I was like, but were you a failure? Because, like, Luffy does that kind of thing. Luffy doesn't just run in and steal from everybody. Like, you're a member of the Grand Fleet now. You're doing what Luffy would do. So you're actually successful. You probably just don't know it yet because, you know, this is your first time out there or whatever. So
it would be kind of crazy. Like, imagine running into different captains of the Grand Fleet. Like, one of them burns your town down, and then the other one gives you supplies. It's like, wait, how do I feel about Straw Hat? I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
Barto run a tight ship.
Barto was selling like pins and stickers. You know what I'm like trying to.
Yeah, he's like the merchant of the Straw Hats.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you talked me up on it. I'll leave it in pretty good.
Cool.
But
Well, we might have to move it because I also have a hot take about the next one. I don't know if I'll put it as high, but I think I'm going to be higher than the average.
Which one is it?
Gang Bege's Oh My Family.
Oh, yeah, I hate that one. Yeah, I have this near the bottom.
Okay, well, can I get you to at least say meh? Is that
I could say meh. I can agree to that.
What about the
I'm
top
not like
of
super
meh?
opinionative.
I love Lola. I love Pez. I love Pound. So, like, seeing all these guys come back, I liked it. I also loved when Pound was like trying to convince Lola and Chiffon that he's their dad. They were like freaking out and they sailed away from him and stuff like that. Like, they thought he was creepy. But the entire time, Pez is super excited. Pez is super happy all throughout the entire scene. He's like cheering for Pound from like the first time they see each other. And he even did that in Whole Cake Island. Like, whenever anytime Pound was there, Pez is super pumped, and Chiffon's like, what are you excited about? What? It's like, that's his grandpa, and he knew. And I love that. I love that whole thing. Also, Pez is a baby with a 5 o'clock shadow and a cigar binky. That's just dope. I don't know what else to say. I love Pez. Lola finally got married, which might matter in Elbaf because of Loki.
Oh, 100%.
Loki's going to be like, what's Gotti got that I don't got? You know?
If you wanted to put this higher, you can. It's just, like I said, when it comes to this, I do weigh my own opinion of like, do I like this character or not pretty heavily. So that's why I put it down. I don't like Pez. I don't like Pound. I don't like Lola, Chiffon, Bege. So I have it low because of that. But in terms of story, right? And if I'm just looking at like what happened, yeah, I like it.
Okay.
So I'll settle for okay. We could put it in the okay category if you want.
Would you? Well, we'll put it here. We'll figure out the rest later. I'm harping on the normal distribution because we're so close, but it'll have to be a little off at the end, so it's all right.
Yeah.
If Loki,
100%.
If Loki ends up getting mad over Gotti, you know what I mean, and he's like raging because he's like, this guy, like, I don't know if he's gonna beat up Gotti. I doubt it, but if he like has like a little bit of a breakdown over it because he's like, damn, like she got married to this loser. I think that'll just be fun, you know, so.
Or he could be like, you know what, as long as she's happy, and then he just, like, takes out his rage somewhere else. That'd be fun, too.
Yeah, it seemed like he genuinely cared for her. Like, he fell in love at first sight. Also rejected Chiffon, right? So it's not just the looks, it's, like, her. So, yeah, I think that'll have a payoff.
Yeah, shout-outs, man.
Yeah, I love Bege. Capone Bege is, I don't know if he's my favorite supernova, but he might be like second or third.
If he fought a little bit better, I put him higher on my list. But he's not bad. I like his design. I think his fruit is cool. I just wish he did more in terms of fighting.
Yeah.
Because he's just a gun merchant that kind of punches with Big Father, and that's it.
He's a big tank, right? He's a like if you're playing Marvel Rivals or whatever, he's a tank. Like he's Groot or I don't even know who. I haven't played that game in a long time, so I don't remember. But you know what I mean. He's taking like all the damage. But the thing that I really like about him is the I love family flag. Like he's all about family, and it's cool because even from like a mafia perspective, that's how they think, right? It's like your family if like you're in the mob, like you're in the gang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that's cool that like he's also taking it literally, where like he thinks of his own family that way, like, and he's kind of growing it with, he accepted Pound, and Lola on the ship, and I just think it's so cool. Which takes us to our next to last cover story, which is Germa 66's an Emotionless Excursion. So this is where we follow Germa 66 trying to escape from Whole Cake, which they eventually do. And then it actually goes into, Kuzan and Augur pulling up for Pudding, which was one of the best cover story adaptations in the anime of all time. And then we also get the Mads backstory, and then the Neo-Mads formation. So there is a lot that came out of this. So I'm tempted to put it in pretty good. What are you thinking?
I'd say pretty good as well. We just got so much out of it. We got to see Katakuri again. We saw Oven again. Caesar, we learned that, obviously he joins Judge, and then they shake hands and make Neo-Mads like he said. I think there's just so much to like from this. It feels like multiple cover page stories put into one.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So high up there.
When I was doing my video and I got to that one, I was like, wait, I forgot, this whole Mads section. We see Vegapunk get the Ibel Peace Prize because he makes the GP flower, which Hibari uses in her weapons. Like that's her attack style, is to nullify other people's weapons with the GP flower. So it's cool that it actually has a role in the story. And that's maybe my favorite part of the cover story, is a lot of it's it had immediate payoffs, because we saw this panel with Kuzan, Augur, and Pudding the very same chapter that we saw Pudding on Blackbeard's ship. So that rarely happens where they're that concurrent with each other. And then we got a lot of the Mad stuff while we were seeing Vegapunk. Hibari was around this a little bit after we saw the GP flower. So it was just cool that Oda married the main story with it. So
yeah, and then the Vinsmokes in general are just fun to follow too.
Because
just seeing them go on that rescue mission to save Yonji and Niji, great stuff.
And what was cool is it started with them sailing away without them, and then Judge kind of sighed to himself, and then they went back and got him. Because I think the idea was they were going to just escape without him and be whatever, because we're supposed to be emotionless warriors, right? We're not supposed to care about that stuff. But I think Judge was well, they are my kids. Let's go back. I think it's almost like he's taking a page out of Sanji's book a little bit. He's yeah, maybe I should have some emotions. If I care about them, you could think of it selfishly. If I care about him and get him back, that's more firepower for me. But I think it was almost more emotional. Yeah, I probably shouldn't leave my kids back there. Whatever, let's go back. So I like that. I like that element.
It could even be hey, maybe I did mess up. Maybe I should have gave them a little bit of emotions.
Yeah.
Maybe they should be a little bit more like Sanji, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll rework the order here in a second, because we're on to our last one. Yamato's cover story. Well, I believe it's called Oni Child Yamato and the Inari Shrine Pilgrimage, I believe is the name.
Yeah.
So this one, I don't know if you would agree with me, but until the last page that we just got, so Sai and I were going to record this before the last chapter, and I can't remember our exact discussion, but I was taking a little while in the video, and I was like, well, you know what, let's get this next one so that way, so we don't miss anything big, who knows. And we had the biggest page of the entire cover story with the Kozuki Moria reveal. So for me, this would have been for sure, I don't know if it would have been the very last place, but would have been in the bottom rung for me for sure. Maybe the last here, but now I'm thinking just okay range.
See, this is tough, right? Yamato, this shows, right? I weigh many different options here, but I love Yamato. Great character. Okay. Really enjoy her. I wish she joined the Struts. I still think she could. I'm coping a little bit. But her cover page journey has been boring. It's been so ass. And then we get the Kozuki Moria reveal 40 volumes later. That puts it up, because I had it near the bottom. I had this one near the bottom, but Kozuki Moria, that is just such an absurd reveal that changes so much that I don't know if I put it in just okay yet. I'd say top of meh.
All right, let's do that.
I say top of meh, and then of course, if we get more Kozuki Moria, or if Oda just keeps on going with this, we could put it a lot higher. But you gotta admit, the beginning segments of Yamato's adventure are awful.
Yeah.
Just not great stuff, man.
Like, it's 40 pages long. And to put that into perspective, the longest cover story by installments is 48 pages. So Yamato is 8 pages away from being the longest cover story in One Piece history. Yet, we've gotten like 2 or 3 pages worth of cool stuff, you know? And don't get me wrong, seeing the scabbards be daimyo of the different regions, that's cool. Seeing who's who and all that, and then
that was nice.
And then Yamato getting ulti in page 1 is like scabbards, I presume. That's cool. But for 40 pages, I'm just like, man, we're dragging. You know,
it just dragged.
Like, I think I said at the beginning, but it took Yamato 7 pages just to leave the capital. Like, the whole point of the cover story is to adventure around Wano like Odin did, and it took 7 pages to leave the capital, right, to start this journey. So, most of Yamato's parts are a little disappointing, I'm gonna be completely honest, but one thing that did stand out to me, and I don't know if you caught this at all whenever, just, the chapter wasn't that long ago, so I don't know if you saw it whenever it came out, but did you see that Shinobu went off of Ozempic in the cover story?
Yes, she is fat again.
And I think that's a mistake from Oda. I don't think he meant to do that. I think he forgot.
You think so?
Because I think it was like 10 or 15 pages before that, we saw Shinobu in the Vegapunk announcement reactions, and she looked like her post-Green Bull self. So she would have had to gain all the weight in like a day. And so I don't know.
And then lose it. I didn't notice that one, actually.
Yep.
I noticed she was fat again, but I thought that was just how she was. Yeah, I didn't notice that.
I want to say it's chapter like 11, 15. I don't know. You could always go to Shinobu's wiki page and look at the references. But,
yeah.
But yeah, it's whenever Momonosuke's like reacting to something, and you can see Shinobu in the background. And so I think it's a mistake from Oda. And so my guess for what Oda's cope is for this is going to be like, she was practicing her shadow clones because she hasn't updated what they look like since she looks different. That's my guess for the cope is some...
Yeah, no, you're right. Chapter 11, 15, she is skinny, and then in the cover page, she's fat. What is going on? And then we don't know like which one takes place first, but either way, it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. And it also just doesn't make sense that she would gain all the weight back because, like, I mean, well, for one thing, so Mr. Bushido brought this up in my Discord, and I audibly laughed at this because I've never thought about it, but he was, like, kind of ranting about Shinobu because he's like, who gets fat when the island is in a famine and everyone's starving? Like, where is she getting the food from?
Possible? Yeah, where's she
she's
getting all the
hoarding
calories,
all the food. So I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like, Shinobu probably does deserve some shade for that, right? And I think what Oda was really going for was, like, the bad timeline, good timeline thing. Like, Shinobu got cast out of the ninja people and was, like, trying to survive in Wano, so, like, she wasn't in a good mindset. But it is a good point. Like, where are you getting the food from, Shinobu? Like, I know you're a ninja, but, like, if you're stealing the food... Are you stealing it from the poor people? And if you're not, and you're stealing it from the rich people, why aren't you giving any to the poor people? You know what I mean? So, a little bit of shade for Shinobu.
Odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's well deserved shade, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. But all right, we have reached the end. So I do have one more question for you, Sai, that I think is a fun thought experiment. But before we do that, is there anything that you're dying to move here that you think is out of place?
No, I'm looking at it, and I think all of our rankings are pretty solid, I'd say. I think most people would agree with them, for the most part.
Like, if I were to change one thing, I might put Koby down here, because then I get a perfect normal distribution. But I think...
No, we can do that. We can do that.
I think he probably does deserve to be in just okay, but just to make it all even, we'll probably put him down there. Yamato's could easily move up if we end up seeing Kaido and Big Mom or something.
Or Gecko Moria, current day.
Or if Blackbeard pulls up, there's like a lot of options that could make that one skyrocket. So Yamato's has a lot of potential. But the thing I want to ask you before we go is, what do you think the next cover story will be?
The Megapunk Adventure.
I think I agree with you. And it might be it might not just be the punks. It might be Sentomaru and Stussy also, because like those are all like the missing people, you know what I mean, from Egghead.
Yeah, we could do like a broad one, like a broad stroke, like the fallout of Egghead. So we could see Kizaru, Sentomaru, Stussy, even Cypherpole Zero, right? Lucci and Kaku, see what happened to them, see if they survive. Well, they did survive, but like see what happened like afterwards when they return home. We could see like some of Iceberg meeting the Megapunk. We could see the Megapunks going to Hardus?
Weatheria, Haradas in Weatheria.
Yeah, I think we could get a lot of that stuff. Like, just do anything post Egghead.
Yep, because one thing that Oda did early that he has gone away from is like the first like 10 cover stories, 12 cover stories are all about following villains from the prior arc. Well, Koby's like a semi-villain, but mainly following villains or enemies or whatever from the prior arc, so we know how they're going to re-enter the story. But what he's done for the last 4 cover stories is the opposite. We follow allies from the prior arc and see where they go. We had the Grand Fleet, then we had the Grand Fleet, then we had Bege's cover story, then we had Germa, which is Germa. Are they allies? Kind of. They're not really enemies anymore. They're a little bit in between, but either way. And then we have Yamato. It's literally been doing the same thing. We follow allies from the prior arc, probably so they can, get involved later. Like the Grand Fleet showed us how they were going to get involved in the Reverie. And Bege's, like whenever Lola has any role in the future and this Loki stuff comes to light, that's how. So it has to be Vegapunk, Stussy, Sentomaru, maybe Cypherpole, like you said, because we got to see how they're going to come back. Like all of those groups, they each have different kind of roles. So it might be like the Germa cover story where, yes, we followed Germa, but then we also found Caesar and they started working together. Then we got to Mads and then we saw Neo Mads. It's like we got a lot of different groups involved there. So
actually, how about this? I think you'd like this one. But what if we follow the vice admirals and they start like spreading rumors about like, oh, hey, Egghead was kind of crazy. Like the Gorosei, he died in front of us. Because 9 of the VAs, they saw what happened. And then Doberman got blown up and we don't know what happened to him. Like we could follow them and this could like start like the Marines turning against the world government. Like it starts with like small cracks.
That could be really cool because of Cross Guild too. Right?
Like get the Marine perspective.
Yeah, like maybe get their thoughts. Like maybe they get chased by some townspeople like the vice admirals do. And so they're just kind of thinking like, wow, we just saw some really scary stuff over at Egghead. And like we were not treated very well. And now the people aren't treating us very well. What like our bosses don't like us. The people that we help don't like us. What do we do next? Yeah.
I mean, I said, I think some people might not like it because they're not a big fan of the VAs, but I love those goobers, man.
They're growing on me. Ever since Dahl learned from Saul, I was like, okay, all right, now you got me, interested, Oda. Now I'm invested in some of these guys, like Red King. I'd be interested to see what his origins were, because, I mean, the dude's got so many chins. I don't know. I'm ready to see if his parents look like that. I don't know. But, all right, we have reached the end. So, everybody, let us know what you think about these rankings. If there's anything you disagree with, if there's any big movements we should have made, if there's any cover stories we did not give the respect to, please let us know down below. But Sai, anything you'd like to say to the people? Any parting words before we head out of here?
Be aware, guys. Soon, Yamato will skyrocket to the top. Just wait. When Moria shows back up, brother, it's gonna happen. When Moria shows up current day in the cover page story, everybody's gonna go crazy.
I agree. We are definitely about to find out Moria can read the poneglyphs.
Oh yeah, there's no reason to have this reveal if not that.
I mean,
like it's coming.
Odin and Moria were on Wano at the same time. That's definitely where he learned. But Sai, thank you for joining, everyone. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with another video of some kind. We're trying to do more tier lists and fun things like this. So we'll be back. If you have any ideas, let us know down below. But without further ado, we're heading out. Peace.
Catch you guys later.